Hello, good evening and welcome to Ugress TV. Hello, good evening and welcome to Ugress TV episode 25. We are live as of this moment. It's always such a weird thing when I click live in the YouTube control panel that sometimes it takes like a millisecond and sometimes it takes 10 seconds before I can greet everybody. Lars and Tortoise, good evening everybody. I'm gonna shortly post a link to Zoom participation. You can participate like Lars here with your webcam on Zoom by clicking this link. There's no audio on the Zoom stream, of course. You will only be joining with your camera here. Like Chris, I think. Yes, hello, Chris just connected. Perfect timing, excellent. Erinso, good evening. And of course, if you are watching this as a recording, you cannot join with your camera with Zoom. There's always somebody who tries to connect a few days later when watching this as a recording. But then you can also skip ahead. You see here, there's a counter that's counting down. In 30 seconds, in 30 minutes, I will start the concert part. There's also going to be a set list below in the comments, so you can jump straight into the music if you don't want to hear us hang out and warm up here. So I have a few things to chat about before we start, and some of that is, as you can see, I am currently in a new studio and there's no green screen behind me, and there's a GoPro right here for backup camera in case the computer back here, that one, yes, that one, I'm looking at you, Good Times computer, suddenly decides that's the old crashing computer. You remember it kept crashing and crashing in a few years ago. That is now it's hosting this kind of the broadcast studio in a sense. And then you have here is how the studio is at the moment. So there are one computer running the music videos that's working much harder, and I'm sitting in the middle of this looking at that big screen in front of you, in front of me. I think there's a better shot here. That's what I'm looking at right now. You can see the same screen as you, and there's a mobile phone smack in the middle of that screen, so I can see what I can see your comments on the left or the right. It's mirrored for me, so it's a bit confusing. Anyway, good to see you everybody. Cooking some food, that's a good idea. I have my Weisswein Schorle here. Cheers everybody. And Snowdrop is watching on Zoom. We can see him peeking his tiny head from the pillow. Oh, there you go. Yeah, much better position for Snowdrop. He's sitting much better now. Oh, a pillow in his back. Oh, that is so considerate of you, Chris. Thank you so much. Some applause for Snowdrop and Chris there. Very good. All right, so I'll go back and show you some chat stuff before we get going. Like this here is the studio I just talked about. I also I just moved to another city, and I moved back to Norway after many years in Germany, and what I really enjoy is going to local libraries in eastern Norway and check out if they have anything on Ugress because it's a Norwegian word, and I always find something. It's like some of them even have my records, but they often have new books, and here's a very wonderful book that if it wasn't for it's ridiculously expensive, I would love to have it. It's a book on Ugress is the Norwegian word for wild plants and weeds. So it's a huge compendium full of plants and weeds. Wonderful. And also earlier this year I was in Halden performing. Oh, pardon me. Earlier in May, I'm just catching you guys up to what has happened since the previous live stream in February. Here is my setup for the International Conference on Applied Artificial Intelligence. Here you can see the venue. I did not shoot any videos of this event. I just it was a quick thing. I went in, played 2 songs during the panels, And then I had the videos on the big screen in the background, and you see my setup in the corner there. I go back here and you can see this is what it looks like from my side. But what was interesting about this performance in Halden, which is in the southern east part of Norway, close to Sweden. Here is the city view, sunset at night. I actually studied in Halden. Here's a view from the other side. This is me standing in the city looking up to the fortress on the top, and here's the view back down. And I was walking around the city and I couldn't remember anything. Like maybe some of the streets and the parks I could have a remembrance of, and of course the fortress. I think that this was my school back then, but I can't really be sure because this street had many very similar buildings. The school is still in Østfold. It's called Østfold Media College or Høgskole Østfold College. Østfold College, and I studied media there. So let's get back to the studio and say hello to everybody who's popped in since I started chatting about my student years, which was in the previous century. Alright, Tortoise's kid have to wait for dinner until after the show. That's very good parenting there. And Alaya, good evening. Good comment from Chris there. We are all children and we all have some bears. Oh, there's Michael and Lisa also. Good evening, Michael and Lisa. And Natalie is also, they're sitting next to Snowdrop. Alright, Pierre, bonsoir, good evening, happy plastic box. Yes, and that is what I was gonna tell you guys. Like here, you see the studio, this is the new studio. It's so much smaller than the previous room I had. So what I'm currently here, you can probably see it. I'm sitting on an office chair now, which is horrible. It's great for working, for developing stuff, but we had a Patreon rehearsal last night, and when I'm getting into it, kind of moving, I'm currently sitting on an office chair up and down, and I really want to like physically move with my legs. I can't move my legs. It's okay, I will survive, but I noticed yesterday when we did, and that was just a technical rehearsal where I'm not even completely into it, so I'm pretty sure tonight I'm going to be very energetic, and afterwards I probably have to go for a run or something to get all that energy out. Wow, Abishi. Wow, great. I also have taken that train trip. I think I did a video once using some footage from that segment. Or as Toatla is asking there, Dovre. Yes, you went over Dovre. That's a beautiful stretch, particularly in the summer. Ah, yeah, I can imagine being glued to the window. So what else happened since February? I've been quite busy. In March, April and May, I did music for a big performance in Bergen called What is the City But the People? I will show you a video of this later, so I'm just quickly gonna kind of talk you through some of the photos of it. And at the moment I can answer questions about it if you were there or if you have seen the live stream. It's still available to watch on Vimeo. But for during the video later, the comments will go by so fast that I won't be able to answer any questions about it. So this is what it looked like. It's a gigantic yellow catwalk in the middle of the city. And you can see there's a white tent to the right under the second huge video screen. And we are standing there. Here you can see from our point of view, I'm performing my stuff, and I hired my regular collaborator Nasra Alioma on percussion. She was playing vibraphone, handpan, and lots of drums and percussion. And here's us during rigging. You see the day before, of course, it's sun and it's very beautiful, and we have lots of time to rehearse and do sound checks. And then the next day, on the performance days, you could see it was raining. We had lots of rehearsals for this, so this is what I was doing for 3 months. I spent 2 months composing I will show you later the parts of the compositional work, but we also did rehearsals in Grieghall. Here you see me and Nasra is rehearsing, and director Gregory, the guy in the red shirt in the middle there. That was the same weekend as Gullruten. We had nothing to do with Gullruten, but as we were going in and out of Grieghall that day on the artist entrance, we took a photo at the big Gullruten poster. And here's a funny story. After this, I was going back home and I brought a bike with me on a night train. And there was nobody on the train, so the bike was standing here. And you see the wagon is quite big. So I actually biked through this wagon in the early morning because the train was empty. And the conductor approved of this, and here we are discussing how fast am I actually going when I am biking in the train. She thinks I'm going approximately 110 kilometers per hour at this segment because the train can't go faster than 100. But if I had been up earlier, I could have biked in probably 150 kilometers per hour, which would have been a world record. And then after that, I just spent 2 months actually in the studio. This was the setup before I brought all of this madness, but I was working here behind me, you can see there, on the computer, just creating and composing music for 2 months. I also did a live stream with Patreon where I kind of go through all of the cues, I explain how the music is built, and you will see that later in the video. I will show you how I'm explaining the music. Then we did a performance at the end of May during the rain. It's rained a lot, as you can see here. And after the performance, I got to meet the king and the queen. Actually, they told us some of you will meet the king and the queen of Norway after the performance. And I thought, okay, yeah, sure, we will be at some kind of reception and there will be lots of people and the king and the queen will be there. But actually what happened was that the four of us, here there's me, oh god, I forgot everybody's name. Maria is the girl, one of the girls walking. The guy, Richard, is behind the flower. And, whoa, Finn. Oh, shit, I forgot his name. The author who wrote all the text. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I forgot his name. Well, it will pop up later and then I will scream it to all of you. So this room here, you see the 6 chairs. We were in 4 of them and the king and queen of Norway were in the 2 others. And we spoke about the performance and the work and art and Bergen and weather for 15-20 minutes. And afterwards, we helped ourselves to the royal wine and catering. So that is what has happened to me since February. We did the previous live stream. Whoa, one of the cameras is lagging quite a lot. Is the Good Times computer catching up? Well, let's see what's happening. I can notice on the screen that my voice is a bit ahead of the video. Alright, I will check in with your lovely comments after I was boasting about my royal adventures in May. Wow, perfect, with some Ugress on the mountain trip. Yeah, I should get a new computer, Lars. Says me, who's just was kind of struggling with the cameras being slow. Maybe I should get a new computer also. Finn Tukvam. I was right. Finn was his name, but I kind of remember that he had a strange last name, and Finn was too normal for having Tukvam as a last name. Thank you so much, Lars, for remembering that, and for showing up for the Patreon after party. We had a quick after party after the performance, as we usually do whenever Ugress has a performance somewhere. I try to make sure we have a Patreon hangout after the show, and Lars was there. Chris, no, but actually, no, nothing special happened. We just chatted about the performance, and I felt so not sorry, but kind of protective for the king and queen. I'm not a royalist. but I don't care. Like, it's working. I see no reason to change it at the moment. But if I could choose, it would not be a monarchy I'm living in. But they were so old and frail, and I thought, my god, this job as a king must suck. This is what he does, day in and day out. They go to stuff, they represent, they talk to people. He never gets anything done. He just hangs out with people forever. I enjoy doing live streams every second month or so, but the king has to do a live stream all the time. It must be so exhausting. So I think he's doing, or they are doing, quite a good job of holding the people together. Probably just by being frail and old and making everybody feel like we should protect the king. But he's a sensible guy. They had good questions. They were nice, and it's I guess an experience that I should cherish, and I do. But I was just nervous, and then afterwards I was like, what? That was it. Well, we got some free wine, so woohoo! My god, I'm chatting tonight. It's good that in 13 minutes or so I will stop chatting and start playing music. Oh, there's Tool also on Zoom. Good evening, Tool. Oh, you moved your camera a bit. It used to be straight on. Oh, everything is new. Check out. I have also moved the camera to an angle. Yes, perfect. The monarchy system is a royal mess. I wonder if they get royalties. PT, welcome to come here. I'm happy to see you. And Donald also. Whoa, long time. Yes, I'm back. I just went through a 10-minute chat about what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Wow, that camera is very laggy. Let me check if that's actually also happening on the music video computer. It's loading in the background, and there. No, this one, that's okay. So as long as the music video is running smoothly, then, and this is a bit behind. I don't care. It's you guys who have to suffer for it. But as long as this one is reactive, that's good. So what else has happened? Yeah, or what has not happened is that this was supposed to be a release party tonight. I was gonna release a EP that's like four or five tracks of material that I thought would fit between the previous album, Boulevard of Broken Dystopias, that came in February, and then I knew that it would be quiet from Ugress for March, April and May while I was busy with the Fastbill performance. So I was planning to release an EP now at the end of June. But as I started working on it earlier this month, I felt, meh, I wasn't very enthusiastic about the material. And no matter how much I mixed or mastered or edited it, I kind of felt like, no, let's wait for a while. And instead I focused on producing this live stream, and also to get this live stream studio up and running. As I've said before, it's much smaller. That was quite a lot of work actually figuring out how to place everything. So I spent maybe 1 week more than I thought on kind of hardware work, or kind of building the desks and the networking and the stuff for getting everything up and running. But it seems to be up and running. We had 2 Patreon trials. We did a Patreon party, and we did a general rehearsal for this live stream last night, and mostly stuff seems to be running. I have also managed to fix my applause button, which was missing until the last moment before today. But now I'm covered. Whatever I do tonight, I'm gonna have applause for it. Bastian, good evening. Yeah, so you can check. Oh, well, there's nothing important. It's just me blabbering on and answering comments and telling you what I've been up to for the last 3 months. I will also quickly give you guys a future plan once the main live stream starts at 8 o'clock in 10 minutes. But I'm now starting to work on the next album, and my focus is back on Ugress, and that is what I will spend the summer on. I will test out a few new tracks in the live stream tonight, but I feel like the material I have so far, it's quite meh. It needs a lot of work. I'm starting from scratch right now. I have a ton of ideas and a bunch of sketches, but I guess it's gonna take a few months before I'm up to speed, and I hope to be able to drop the first single in September. If the summer goes well, I should have a good candidate for a single in September or so. And I also really very much hope to do a live stream in September and another one in November or so. It seems to me that to do a live stream every second or third month is a good compromise between both being active online on YouTube and taking care of this live stream community and this artistic stage, which I really love working with. It's that is good to keep alive, but also now that COVID is over, it seems like it, I'm also busy with live commissions like the stuff I did just now, and also concerts, and just real life stuff is taking a bit of my attention. Especially I just moved house, which I thought was going to take a weekend, but turns out that takes a year or two. But now most of that is over. The live stream studio is up and running, so I'm looking forward to just create music and work fully on art for all of summer. I will catch up on lovely comments. David Wartsky, I wonder how good the broadband infrastructure is in Norway compared with other countries. I can answer it compared to Germany right now because I just lived in Germany for a while and now I am living here. I would say it's better. No, actually, I can only answer for Berlin, and I think the infrastructure in Berlin is a bit below the rest of Germany. There are a bunch of Germans here that probably can answer better, but I paid quite a lot for a 250 megabit line, and that was sometimes I had network problems. Now I am paying about the same for a 500 megabit line, and it's swoosh. I never have any problems so far with network, so I would say it's technically better in Norway compared to Berlin, but I can't compare for all of Germany, so I really don't know. Has Nasra ever attended one of your live streams? Do you mean to watch it or performed in it? She has watched a few, especially the Patreon ones where I do general rehearsals for Ugress shows. She kind of rehearses together with the stream, but she has never been in one. That's a good idea. I like back to network stuff. If the network infrastructure was good enough, the few times I tried to do live music things over internet, it's like, yes, that could work if this and this and this and this and this and this were perfect, and also if you like both were in a studio made for it. I think it's too much hacking, let's see. If I have lots of resources, I might experiment with it, but for now my focus is elsewhere, and I like to have musicians with me on stage and not in live streams so far. Watching, yes, yeah, she's been watching a few, but mostly for work. You know, she's played the songs so many times. It's not fun for her to watch this. She has better things to do. Alright, 5 minutes until we start. Let me check that the stuff is up and running. Yes, seems like the most important stuff is operational, so I should be good to go in a few minutes. And here's a final bit of trivia before we start going. I'm gonna play Undead Funeral March later, but as you probably know, once I start playing songs, I'm moving quite quickly through the set. So I will just tell you right now, the reason for playing it tonight is it's been quite the hit in Asian markets and small videos. So for some reason, right now, Undead Funeral March is kind of like the best performing song of Ugress online. It's used in cat videos and some kind of strange, I think it's summaries of full movies. So there's a video running for 5 minutes that kind of has edited a full movie down to 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. Then there's text above and below explaining what is happening in every scene, and there's a voiceover chatting on top of that. And then there's a Undead Funeral March laying under. And there are so many of these videos. I guess it's some kind of algorithmic or artificial intelligence generated system that just spews out these videos and they get tons of views. I guess people don't want to watch the movie, so they just watch the recap. And I'm kind of like, I get the the YouTube advertisement money from that. Wow, I was just... Is that on Ghost Storm? But I just realized that the Ghost Storm was finished playing and Spotify chose Boulevard of Broken Dystopias. The algorithms choose correctly for once. Very interesting. But I will slow down the music in the background because we are starting in a minute. And finally, just check the comments before I get going in case there's any questions. And as always, once we start now in a minute, things are going to happen much faster and there's going to be a lot of visuals and videos and fun and stuff. And I won't be able to answer all comments, but I read all of it tomorrow. I save everything and I go through it tomorrow and I laugh and I cry and I see your comments. So if I don't respond tonight, please know that I see it tomorrow. And if there's a question, I try to remember to answer it on the next live stream, which I completely forgot tonight. But I do take notes, and maybe there were no questions last time that I didn't answer. Hello, Alfonso. Good to see you again. David and Katjasu. Hey, Tjena. How is Stockholm? Scared away. Oh my god, that's ages ago. Yes, that's right. Or, I mean, no comment. I do cry. Oh, Chris, I was gonna answer you about the German comment. Do I miss speaking German? And I answered no. And that is because I do not miss not being good at speaking German, which is something different than missing the German language in itself. I never managed to speak very good German. So that is what I'm not missing. My German friends, the German culture and German society, I really miss it. But I also am very happy in Norway. 10 seconds to start. Let's get going. Hello, good evening and welcome to Ugress live streams. Episode 25. Woohoo! We have done 25 live shows. That should be like a gold watch or some kind of iPhone or I don't know, an award. But let's get started. Tonight I'm gonna play a bunch of music. and both of it old hits and regular Ugress classics, but also a bunch of sketches because I just started working on the new album, and that should get some focus for tonight. I will also show you a video report from what I've been doing for the last 3 months since I was away for quite a bit. But just get starting with Curse of the Cancelled from 2022. Thank you so much. That was Curse of the Cancelled from 2022. It's a classic hit. You heard it a billion times, but it's good to warm up with something familiar and something I know how to do. Because the next song, I have no idea how to do, so I'm gonna improvise because we are going back to the 90s. And I'm gonna play Transmassive, a kind of chemical big beat track I did back in 1997. This is gonna be fun. Oops. That was Transmassive from 1997, a tracker track I did way back when my project was called Gnosis, which you can still listen to on Spotify, by the way. It has like 5 monthly listeners or something. It's fantastic. Thanks for your lovely comments and applause. I'm quickly checking in for Oslo, Sigmund, and Kjartan. Good evening. Thanks, Chim Chim Cherry. I also enjoy doing the side project tracks. It's a good. It creates a bigger palette for me to work with, and also this was quite fun to do. Like I told Midjourney to create like tons of chemical big bit rave punk control panels with LCD displays integrated, and it like just spews out all of this stuff that if somebody told me in 1997 you can tell a computer to make this and it will do it in 10 seconds, I'm like blow my mind. So I'm looking forward to in 20 years, my God, what can we tell the computers to do? And they will just kind of, here you go, your complete fake reality with everything you want, and body, like bodysuits will make you feel everything. It's like, goodbye, reality. Woohoo, I'm so looking forward to that. I am currently loading the next track. I will be away for 4 seconds. The next track is then a completely new song from 2023. This is Boss Battle, but the boss is you, which is a work in progress. It's currently material or raw material from the upcoming album, coming in X months whenever it's finished. Thank you. That was boss battle, but the boss is you. Thank you so much for your applause. Oh, Afonso is also on Zoom. Good evening. Good to see you there also. Perfect. So, Ronny is also there. Oh, hello. So many people have showed up while I was busy rocking out with myself as the boss and battling myself for the boss. TV user. The clothes washer will never finish if you're staring at it. Alright, what's next? It's good that I make this keynote so I know what to do. I press a button and it tells me I will now do a video report from Fastspel i Bergen, which is what I have been doing for the last 3 months, which is why it was quiet from Ugress for a few months since the album came in February. I have created music for Fastspel i Bergen's opening performance, What is the City But the People. I will load that for a second. And have a drink. Cheers. There we are. It should be, there we go. Here's the video from that. Let me put up that volume and down that one. So, here's the performance. It's a big catwalk in the middle of the city. You can see us to the right there. There's a tiny white tent to the right. And it's a performance where 150 citizens from the city appears on this catwalk. And their stories are told by Finn Tokam, a text author. And we are performing the music here at the tent. You can see the catwalk in the background. So I'm just quickly going to give you a 5-minute video report of my work on this project. This is what it looked like during performance. The music is not just ambient like this. It goes very up to very energetic Nordic electronica and lots of folk music and classical music integrated. But I started 3 months ago, or in March. Here, this is Bergen, under here, and I started by just sampling tons of sounds from the city. I did not know if I was going to use this, but I wanted to have all the atmospheres as you, as a citizen of the city, would experience on your daily life going through the city. I actually ended up using a bunch of this as the kind of transitional parts between more musical elements. And like this, I used the tones and I created paths from the city rail. I used sounds from the harbor to create kind of like the landscapes that were gluing everything together. And then for 3 months, I just sat here in this studio, just here, just behind me here, and working on this computer. I also did some live streams with Patreon, explaining to Patreon supporters what I'm working on, and I show them work in progress. Here you can see me working in Logic and talking with Patreon supporters how I'm progressing through the piece. Then in May, early May, 2 weeks before performance, we had rehearsals in Bergen. Here you see the city square in the background. That's where the performance was gonna happen. Hello. I'm in Bergen. This is Fastpassen, and this is where we're gonna perform in 2 weeks. So we had rehearsals. This is Nasra Aliomar that I usually collaborate with. She's my regular drummer for Ugress. And here she's playing chromatic percussion with a vibraphone and handpan, in addition to lots of small percussion and regular drums. So we had some time to rehearse and figure out which parts to go where. She improvises. I do not tell her what to do. She kind of learns the music and then she improvises on top of it. And the same do I, kind of like I just did now with the Transmassive track. I just improvise on top of it. So this is the handpan. And that's the sound technician back there. Trabi. And this is the rehearsal space where in a minute or so, tons of people will come and we will kind of pretend that this room is the yellow catwalk and they rehearse. And this is what it looks like for me at rehearsals. Nasra is on TikTok, I guess. This is the director, Richard Gregory. He's a fantastic guy. And then we do rehearsals. The people walk like they're supposed to do, and we learn them. We learn the different people, the groups, and what kind of music, how do we improvise on top of them. It's kind of like the silent movies I do, just instead of a movie, here there are people going. Then I did a final rehearsal with Patreon, a general rehearsal, going through everything and explaining my thoughts. And then, performance, premiere. Here they are building the big, gigantic catwalk. It's like 100 meters long. It's all yellow. And there is the white tent that we are standing in, underneath the second LED screen. So it was nice weather on that day, of course. This is one day before. And we had technical rehearsals with the vibraphone. And now you see why the sound engineer is so far away on rehearsals. Then the next day, woohoo! It's Bergen. Of course, it's raining. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
It's about 1 or 2 hours until the whole thing starts. It's currently raining a lot, so you see my stuff is behind a lot of plastic.
So, very sad sight there. But still, quite a lot of people showed up. Here's the backstage tent. And right now, it's 2 minutes before we go on stage. They play the national hymn. And this is where we are waiting in the sad rain to go on stage. And then it starts, and we play for 1 hour, improvising on top of the people, going back and forth on the catwalk. I documented this with multiple cameras. I had, of course, you have the camera production. This is still available to view live on Vimeo. And I had a camera here that covered the catwalk and the two of us. And I had a camera on Nasra that captures her performance. And I had a camera on me. And we also taped it multi-track, so I have everything ready. And I was quite exhausted after this. This was 3 months of intense work. I needed a break from it, but maybe later this summer I will mix down the multi-track and release it as a standalone album. It's 60 minutes of Nordic classical electronic music. So thanks for watching. That was a 5-6 minute report from what I did in May. And now let's get back to Ugress. And what is next? I will push the button that tells me what to do next. Oh, it's Undead Funeral March. Yoo-hoo! Let me load that one. And for that one, you can now participate, you can always participate on Zoom, but right now, I'm gonna ask everybody on Zoom, and I will also post a link to Zoom in case you wondered how to join here. You can just click that link that I just posted in the comments, and join with your webcam on Zoom. Then you will show up, like all of these excellent people here, and right now I'm gonna ask everybody to dance along with Undead Funeral March, because it's a great song to have lots of dancers with. Or, you don't have to dance, you just have to wave your spaghetti around like you just don't care, Michael. And then everybody will be in different tempos, and it will look very ridiculous, both for everybody watching right now. And also, when I make a video of this later, it's gonna be hilarious. So, here is, oops, wrong button, there. I'm gonna play Undead Funeral March, and please knock yourself out on Zoom. give an extra hand of applause for the Zoom audience, which did a wonderful job and workout. And now back to the spaghetti for Michael. So that was Undead Funeral March from 2011, which is currently a big hit in Hong Kong and Taiwan, and it's used in a billion cat videos and movie summarizes all over the world by artificial intelligence systems. This button tells me that the next thing I'm going to play for you is Neutrois, which is a working title and a work in progress. Let me load it. It's another sketch from the upcoming album, or this might not even go on the album. I'm just loading it and performing it, and we'll improvise a bit on top of it and see how this feels. Yeah, I felt there was a bit too short applause there for such a long track. So that was Neutrois. I don't know why I call it that. It's something with neurons and I don't know. I started it ages ago. I just kept working on it, and now it's what it is right now. I like these 80s, 90s alternative goth moods. So this is a good example of how both the AI and my composition is kind of reinforcing each other. I work a bit with the song, and then I tell the Midjourney to kind of like make something like that, like a band performing in the late 80s, and like make stage design for like late 80s cyber witch goth band, and then that feeds back into my composition of the music, and then it's like a full. It kind of reinforces each other. I really enjoy that. I think it's one underestimated way to think of artificial intelligence or large language or log picture or whatever models, to kind of use them as a tool for inspiration. Not necessarily, of course, here I also use the graphics in the background. But I can also use this kind of like just inspire me, create a scene, and then I create the music from that scene. It's fascinating times. Let's move on and talk a bit about support. It's advertisement time, you know. It's you can't skip this. It's part of the live stream. We'll just quickly tell you how the best way to support Ugress is, of course, play the music. And you don't have to, but it's always nice if you really want to share it with somebody you think would like it, to please spread it to them. I did a what's it called? Survey a year or two ago, and I asked people, how did you discover Ugress? And most of people actually discover it through friends. Somebody told them hey, you should check this out. And so I'm just going to remind you that that's a good way to support me. And if not, you can also pay. If you don't want to share, you can pay. Of course, you can, in Norway, whips me on this number. I will that's the whips number right there. Or you can PayPal me at Ugress. Oh, it's too long to write. Just PayPal me /Ugress. And you can get off social media, because at the moment I'm still posting stuff like kind of, hey, it's a live stream tonight, but I'm so sick of social media. I try to stay away from it as much as possible. I just do my job there and get away. So please do subscribe to the mailing list, which has a lot less traffic, and it makes sure that you get the information you want. Just go to ugress.io. I posted that link because it's very short, and you can heal me. I am in boss battle with myself. Aren't we all, Bastian? Aren't we all? So subscribe to my mailing list, and you can also battle my emails in addition to yourself. And but of course, there's also the final support option, which is the Patreon monthly support. You can subscribe to my work on Patreon. There's 3 different tiers. You can just subscribe to music, which gives you 1 or 2 music posts, or to video, which in addition gives you video posts every month. And the live tier also gives you 1 exclusive live stream. There's also long-form status reports every month, behind the scenes reports, just like you saw the video you saw from Fastbilla today was 5 minutes, but Patreon got a 15-minute that shows like what do I do, also what happens in my life during this time. It shows you backstage, it shows you more kind of informal places, and like goes behind the scenes and shows you the top secret parts. And we have DJ sessions and hangouts and parties. If you are unsure what this actually means, go to ugress.com/Patreon. There are some examples, so you can check out before you sign up what you actually go in for. Thank you for patience with the unskippable ad. Let's move on to art, and I will now do Tortoise Locomotive from 2011. Thanks a lot. And thank you so much, P.D. Olsen, for 20 Nook. That's awesome. Thanks for supporting me on YouTube. And thanks for all the support that is dumping in elsewhere. I know it's coming right now, but I won't see it until like a minute after the show. And for the final track of tonight, it's a Spider-Man theme. Let's go with a classic, and let's go out with a classic. It's currently loading in the background. And one of the things I will spend the next 2 months on is to figure out or to get a better computer than the crash happy slow latency. The reason the picture is very slow tonight on that computer, we already played that, is because it's so old. It's an old Intel computer. It's overheating. It's over stressing. It's whenever I do something live, when I rehearse, everything's fine, and then you go live on stage with tons of more comments, and it's just overloading. So I'm gonna get myself a better computer for the next live stream, and I will be more responsive here. But for now, let's finish with the Spider-Man theme.